Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. I love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Applebees, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley, and we've got Chicagoland to catch up on and all sorts of other stuff. Folks, how we doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Brian. I'm sitting here in the guest room at my parents' house in beautiful northwest Arkansas, overlooking a big patch of very tall trees. It's very nice outside. It's very hot, so I'm happy to be inside. But yeah, visiting the folks and had a pretty easy travel day today, and I've got almost no complaints. How you doing, True Love?
I'm tired.
Nice.
We're all tired.
Yeah, let's be honest. We're going to plow through this one tonight, I think.
Yeah. I spent a hot weekend at a racetrack last weekend, and I have another hot weekend at a racetrack this coming weekend. So.
Oh, that's right. You do.
I'm tired.
Yeah, well, you better get your Crocs and your I don't know what's your cool suit out.
Yeah.
Well, the race doesn't start till like 7. What time are you guys going to get there?
Early to, it's still 90 degrees at 7 o'clock in Georgia.
Yeah, it doesn't change that much.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well.
That's true.
Well,
All right,
weather was also a factor in Chicago, which we'll talk about in a second here.
Yes. I have many weather issues this weekend that I do not regret not dealing with. So we'll get into all that stuff in a minute here. So ARCA, Chicago. There was a race Friday. It happened. I watched it. Don't remember a fucking thing about it. It's ARCA. Like nothing happened. Like it was 12 cars in the lead lap, and the rest were all like 17 laps down or more. I know Connor Mozak won and Laney Bice was second, but that's
that's
it.
cool.
That's all I got.
Good job, Laney.
My one ARCA note is Bobby Dale Earnhardt wrecked like he does every single ARCA race.
Well, got to keep up with tradition.
Yeah, I think we've said it on the show before. He definitely races more like Jeffrey than Dale with that last name.
Yes.
Cool, that was the ARCA report. Now on to the Busch Series.
Yeah. So I might as well get the weather shit out of the way. So, going into this weekend, like I wanted to go. I was planning on going, and had car issues, had to spend a bunch of money to fix my brakes, and then also the weather looked iffy all weekend. Like, all week it seemed like it was going to be storms, and at the very least, it was going to delay the start of the Cup race, and who the hell knows what was going to happen on Saturday. Well, we found out. It was fucking monsoon, inches and inches of rain. Dale Jr. was saying, it was like raining sideways, and he said it was like the hardest rain he's ever seen in his life.
Yeah, the video of that from the pits was pretty crazy. I forget who posted. There was a few of them, but there was one in particular. Maybe it was Bob Pockris. Yeah. But it was insane.
Yeah. So what this did is it canceled qualifying for O'Reilly's on Friday, and they just set the field by whatever fucking metrics they have, and then they practiced Saturday. Cup, however, they did get both practice and qualifying in, and it destroyed most of the parking lots. Like there were tons of beached cars, and I know by Sunday, they have all the, most lots, have names or letters, and it seemed like A through J lots were all closed, and they were parking people at the nearby drag strip and carting them in. I know on Sunday, granted it's getting ahead of us, but Sunday there were hours long lines to get into the track, and yeah, that made me really not regret my choice of not going. Like,
Yeah, right.
You know, as much as, like, you know, you guys give me shit about being kind of a baby about weather and certain conditions, but, like, you know, when I got to drive 5 hours just to get to Chicago and then another hour and a half to get to the racetrack, and then I got to go
Or
sit in
4
traffic.
in this case.
Yeah, sit in fucking traffic for 3-4 hours. Like, granted, you know, I grew up going to New Hampshire where this is kind of what you had to deal with, but, you know, these years, like, you know, the last decade or so, like, my 2 regular tracks are Darlington and Michigan. Both of those tracks are in and out. Like, Michigan takes a few minutes longer, but Darlington, like, you know, by the time you get to your car, you're on the highway within 15 minutes. Like, it is, they have it so dialed there. It is incredibly easy. Like, it's one of the many reasons why Darlington is my favorite fan experience of all time. As much as I wanted to go to Chicago, like, I'm just very glad I didn't put up with any of that shit. But
yeah, and by the way, folks, if you go to Loudon, just turn right. Don't go left. Take the extra 10 minutes, drive north, and cut across. And boom, done, over. No traffic.
There you go.
Take it from a local.
Yep. Yeah, I never drove to New Hampshire, so I just remember sitting in traffic.
Well, you're like 10 years old, so I would hope not. But hey, you know, it is New Hampshire. Live free or die, right?
That's true. So anyways, this obviously affected the start time of Saturday race. They're supposed to start like 5:30-ish, and didn't start until 10 o'clock. Now, I will say that I do not have much of a report from watching this race because, you know, my weekend, you know, Thursday through Saturday, there were 3 straight days where I was up at 5 in the morning to go to flea markets, including Saturday. And, you know, I had to stay home with the dog because of fireworks, 4th of July. I was like, oh, well, whatever. Race can start, whatever. I'll be home. Didn't get started till 10 o'clock. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I think I made it to just about the end of stage 1, and I passed out. I woke up with 17 to go. I just caught Ryan Sieg's tire exploding, and I was like, oh, Taylor Gray and Brandon Jones are on the front row for this restart. Well, I hope Brandon Jones pulls it off. Didn't even get to the restart, and I fell back asleep, and then I woke up like 3 in the morning. So that was my race watching for the night.
Yeah, very similar for me. Went to a 4th of July barbecue. After going kind of hard the night before up in New Hampshire, went to a 4th of July barbecue, had a few beers, and by the time I got back to the house, I was like, oh, race is still on, you know, and I sat down on the couch and time traveled to 4 a.m. Sunday morning. And, yeah, it sounds like you got your wish because Brandon Jones did get the win.
Yes. True Love, did you manage to stay awake for the entire race?
I did. We went to Atlanta Motorsports Park for like 12 hours on Saturday. So I thought I was going to miss the race just from being at the racetrack. But, you know, came on at 10. We were back at Andy's house. I was like, all right, I can watch because I was excited because Chase Elliott was in this race. And then I got, you know, I can't remember how far I got into it. And my eyelids started getting very heavy. But Chase was leading, and it kept getting closer to the end. Chase was leading. Closer to the end, Chase was leading. I was like, I can't go to sleep and miss a Chase win or I'll be upset with myself. So I forced myself to stay awake to the end for a Chase Elliott win, only for him to lose it on the final restart. So I was
to Brandon Jones
annoyed.
of all people.
Hey, come on, I like Brandon Jones.
I was just glad it wasn't Taylor Gray.
Yeah, that's also fair. You know, I watched the highlights and it seemed like, you know, Connor Zilic had a shit day. Poor fucking guy.
Yeah.
You know, there are a bunch of wrecks and stuff, but it seemed like a good race. I wish I was able to stay awake for all of it, but I was unable to.
Definitely some great racing.
Yeah, fog was an issue. I did see that fog, much like Charlotte, was. It wasn't as bad as what we saw at the Charlotte race, I don't think. I was asleep for this. I'm asking. I have no idea.
No, it wasn't that intense. It was definitely foggy, but not full blown Charlotte fog.
Yeah.
I think the only wreck that I really took note of was there was a caution for Swallich getting spun by his teammate Brent Cruz in 6th place towards the end. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
More beef.
That's right. They had a little talk on pit road.
Oh, did
And
they?
the internet tried to make that out to be a thing. Like, yeah, I think even NASCAR social media is like, drivers have a heated discussion on pit road, and it's just two guys kind of like talking to each other, and that was it.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing to look at, so you didn't miss anything.
Yep.
Cool, Brandon
How
Jones,
many,
congratulations, bud.
I think we all watched the Cup race, right?
Yes, we did
Yeah.
all watch the Cup race. So going into the week, before any fans were at the track, there was some
First wreck of the weekend was Denny Hamlin's car.
first wreck of the weekend was Denny Hamlin's hauler. There was a photo that somebody took of the hauler getting stuck on some like back road turnoff. The driver went on social media and explained what happened. Like, I think there was a weight limit on the road he was on, so he had to like bypass that and take a detour, and like it was just a mistake. Like, the car was fine, obviously. Obviously the hauler didn't seem too beat up or anything. It was just like, the ass end of the trailer was stuck in a ditch, basically.
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal, but that didn't stop plenty of commenters from talking shit, and this leads us to our DAR for the week, which I don't have this comment in front of me, so somebody else.
I've got it right here. And as Brian was saying, that anytime there's any sort of incident of any kind, the particular experts in that type of field flood to the comments section and provide us with valuable information about what went wrong and what they would have done better. There's a plane crash. Every pilot on Earth shows up on Twitter, and they give their feedback. And in this case, the feedback that this guy should have listened to apparently came from a guy named Harry Reynolds, and he says, he wasn't following trucker path. He was on Google Maps. That's for cars, not for trucks. You got to spread arrow on the back. You got to make a real wide turn with that Peterbilt. Need to hire me. I wouldn't get stuck like that. Come on, driver.
Yeah, I'm sure this guy that's in charge of like a couple $1 million worth of cars and equipment doesn't know what he's fucking doing, and it's his like first week on the job.
Yeah. Even if Harry's right, you're not. Facebook is not the appropriate court to plead your case in. So
yeah, nor will your comment get you a job. So
no. So his punishment this week for saying this on the internet is to go get that hauler unstuck next time it happens. Yeah, then we'll see who the skills are. Let's put your money where your mouth is, pal.
Yep. We already covered the parking and traffic nonsense, but this is a nonsense comment that that I don't know if I agree with or not. Marty Smith makes me miss Corey LaJoy.
You just don't like his faux hawk, Trulo.
Every time he opens his mouth, I just cannot believe that this man is on my television covering a NASCAR race.
I mean, he definitely sucks. Like, not a fan of his at all.
Yeah. I think the thing that got me this week was straight out of the gate, kicking the broadcast off. They've got Dale, Steve, Marty, and Jamie Mack at the desk again. But this week they've got Jeff Burton with them. And how Marty Smith introduced Jeff Burton, he said, "There's no one in history more deserving of the Hall of Fame than Jeff Burton." So immediately I was just annoyed at Marty.
Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Bobby Ellis,
David Pearson. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. He doesn't know.
Jesus Christ.
So,
yeah, I kind of view him as the Will Buxton of the NASCAR world. He really leans into the dramatics when making statements, and sometimes they aren't always. Sometimes they're fluffed up for dramatic effect, and this is certainly one of them.
Full fluff.
Yeah, not to say that Jeff Burton wasn't a huge influence on NASCAR and doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but
right.
Yeah, those adjectives are a little too big there, big man.
Yeah. So.
What's Corey LaJoy up to these days? Just driving the truck?
I
think.
don't know what he's doing.
It's doing his podcast, which I don't listen to. Building seats. I don't know. Fucking.
I think Corey and Marty should start their own podcast that no one will listen to.
Put them on an island that you will never visit. Yeah, I like Marty Smith, but I understand the frustration for sure.
All right, so now we can get on to the race itself, which I honestly was expecting at least a little bit of a rain delay because there was some weather in the area, but no, they managed to start on time and run it on schedule, which was good. But not so good for Connor Zilich, who wrecked on lap 1 with, who was it, Stenhouse and somebody else? I can't remember.
Jay Chin squeezed in house, which I guess made Priest check up or something.
Yeah.
And then Eric Jones got into Priest.
And Zilich just happened to be on the racetrack at that point.
Yeah.
And if anyone's going to get sacrificed to the racing gods, it's going to be him. Zilich adding 0.7 of a mile to his total mileage count for the year.
God bless him.
Yeah. He's still leading the Rookie of the Year standings, so good for him. He'll take that home this year.
Well, while we're on the subject of Priest, though, so he spun out and got 4 laps down, was able to eventually get them all back, so good for him. But might as well talk about this now. So Priest had another issue involving radio transmissions. I think it was Friday in practice. He was bitching about NASCAR made him change something with his like head restraint or head brace or whatever in the car. Dale Jr. said, on the broadcast and stuff, it seemed like Priest's head always moved a lot more than other drivers, and NASCAR made him change something to the head restraint system. And Priest was bitching about this on the radio in practice, and of course the media reported on it because it's a story. And Priest was not happy about that the next day in the press conferences and stuff, which whatever. Listen, I'm a big Ryan Priest fan. We all are. Well, at least Rob and I are.
Yes.
But
I'm neutral.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, listen, we're gonna get into the penalty stuff in a minute, and that's a whole different conversation. But
it's
just
absolutely separate.
Just the fact that you already had one issue this season about saying stuff on the radio, and radio transmissions have been public fodder with fans and the press for 40-something years now, as long as people have been able to access that. People have accessed it and listened to what happens on the radio and report, reporters report on what drivers say behind the wheel. You can't get upset about this. It's not going to stop. No one's... learn your fucking lesson. If you don't want people to hear what you're saying, don't fucking say it on the radio.
Yeah, the T-shirt that he just started selling today says, don't press the button. Yeah. It's that simple. And I feel like he's probably looking at this situation that he doesn't want to become the next Martin Truex Jr., who, once he got to Gibbs, became persona non grata when it came to bitching on the radio and sounded like a big whiny baby. And I feel like he probably doesn't want to...
Championship.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Priest doesn't want to be framed as that, and I think he's getting a little bit of flack from that after the Gibbs deal where Gibbs cleared himself and the penalty. And this is all going to tie together in a second once we get to that part of the race analysis here. But...
complaining about people reporting on what you say in the radio is going to help your cause.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Don't press the button in the car or the one in your brain that makes you say stuff like that in press conferences. So, just let it go. Yeah, if you don't give them something to talk about, they won't talk about it. And now the target's on you, so you kind of got to back off of that a little bit.
Yeah. So our next incident was Zane Smith and Carson Hocevar. Zane Smith,
this is awesome.
Zane,
big Zane fan.
What a dork.
I'm kind of neutral on him. I kind of he is a bit shit talky in a way I didn't expect from him, but it seemed pretty apparent what he was trying to do there, and then he managed to wreck himself in the process, which everybody brings up the Landon Castle rule of if you're going to wreck somebody, make sure you don't wreck yourself, which is whatever. I mean, I guess they've had beef in the past, and it seems silly to do something like that this early in the race, but
he did it. And listen, you guys know, I like Carson. I'm sure he deserved whatever was coming to him. You know, I think that was probably deserved for some reason that I'm not aware of. And I'm not a race car driver, never have been. But I'm pretty sure you're supposed to back off the gas instead of just hammering down into somebody when you tap them.
Yeah.
And he ended up just knocking the deck out of it pretty much, and that was essentially his day. I don't think they got it fixed back up and got him out there. That was it for him. And Carson's day was ruined too, but he was able to continue on and at least salvage some points. But
yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that came out of this, which is another conversation, is like the host of our fan base went ape shit on all of Zane's social media outlets to the point where like Zane has like turned off commenting on stuff because they're like saying stuff about his wife and all sorts of other shit, and it's just like,
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I feel like it's not just. I mean, it's not just a host of our fan thing. I mean, I think a lot of younger fans and just general psychos just say whatever the fuck they want.
I think it's a terminally online fan thing, but it just so happens that Carson attracts a lot of those too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as someone who's
terminally online.
Yeah, as someone who is also terminally online, like, I also know how to shit talk and like how to leave comments, and like doing that stuff is just weird and like,
I mean,
parasocial. And like, what are you gonna accomplish by like threatening a NASCAR driver on their Instagram account? Like, what is that gonna do? Like, you just look like a fucking moron.
Yeah, and also like if you're gonna be a fan of somebody who's aggressive and creates these situations, and again, I don't know what caused this one, but based on the track record, you can probably assume that Zane Smith's gripe is legitimate, right?
Yeah.
That case closed. I think.
Yeah.
You're going to have to accept that stuff is going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Also, Zane's 23rd in points, so he doesn't have anything to lose at this point.
No.
He's not making the chase.
No. Not a chance in hell.
And that leads us to another incident. SVG and Austin Hill.
This was my favorite thing of the day right here.
I think it's most people's favorite things.
Yeah.
SVG just took out Austin Hill. It was a lot cleaner than Zane Smith. He managed to just boot him out of the way and continue on with his day. SVG, of course, he's, as we've talked about, like he, maybe not so much here in America just yet, but he has plenty of history being an aggressive driver and doing shit like this other places. And Austin and SVG have had a handful of on-track altercations over the years. Not even, not necessarily, I don't even want to necessarily count San Diego in this because that, I don't know.
I mean, I think the recency bias of it causes people to look at that, but these guys have a history. They got it's not even like the past. Like at Pocono, Hill shoved him up into the fence. And then, again, there's whatever road course that was at a couple years ago that they got into it. These guys don't like each other.
Yeah. And the cool thing is SVG is one of the only guys in the entire field that could probably go toe-to-toe with Austin as far as, like, a fight goes, because SVG's a big boy, too. Like, he's not as thick as Austin, but he's a big dude. Like, he's in the Cup field, he's probably the biggest.
And people from that far south, out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, are nuts.
Yes.
I've met Kiwis, and they all share the same broken genetics, I guess, because they're all nut jobs. I love them. Great people. But, I mean, look at, like, Will Power's a Kiwi, too. Or he's Australian, sorry, but he's from Tasmania. It's close enough. Yeah, he's a nut job. Scott Dixon, normal guy. He's from New Zealand. He's the only one. But, great people, but don't mess with them.
Known plenty of BMXers and skaters that are Australians, and every single one of them are fucking insane. So
yeah. But I would say that finally we have a tangible angry rivalry with two guys that actually can fight each other, and you really want to see it. So I've bought my ticket to this ride. I hope this happens at some point. It seems like it probably will. This is definitely not over as these guys bang around for 74th place every week going forward.
I think it was Austin Spotter called him Van Guggenheim, which is this motherfucker's been a star of the Cup Series the last 3 years, and you're going to try to make a stupid joke about his name like that. Like, that just shows how stupid you are. But
also, just talking crap on the radio. That's all it is.
Yeah, but that's not even funny. It's just you're lame. You can't come up with anything better to say than playing on his name. But one thing the broadcast missed was, Austin, went in the pits and looked at his car, went on the track and got into SVG's left front a little bit. And SVG was just like, that fella just got into my bumper. Didn't even say his name. Because, again, going back to the intent and all the other shit, SVG is very smart. Never said a thing on the radio about any of this stuff. And wouldn't even say his name after the fact. So
yeah, well, he's used to the supercars guys coming down with the hand of God anytime something like that happened. So...
and that is why Austin Hill or SVG did not get any penalties today, as people were worrying about that was going to happen. But nope, scot-free, moving on to next week with no penalties or anything. So
Pop was very upset on the radio too on Sunday, so I'm sure he's fuming today that there were no penalties.
And the irony of this being that the Austin Dillon deal at Richmond,
yes.
and the appeal, and that's just that. If you don't like racing like that, then what are we doing? And in the second something just as minor happens, well, I guess that's a wreck. It is what it is. But again, fighting for a position at the back of the used car lot is a lot different from what Austin did. But I don't know, some more pot calling the kettle black business going on here, and
oh, for sure,
it's so funny to me. I love this.
I feel like SVG won twice this weekend too, because his comment that he said after the race was also incredible.
A+. I talked to him and he just grunts.
Yeah,
5 stars.
To him, but he just grunts. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, just perfect, absolutely perfect.
I don't think we talked about it the other week either, but after the San Diego incident, he referred to Austin Hill as a spud, which I also appreciated.
Yeah, but this does bring the Ryan Priest conversation from earlier into completion here, and basically this might be dumbing it down, but the message being sent here: as long as you don't talk about it, you can do whatever you want. As long as you don't admit that it was on purpose, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think any of these situations should have been penalized, just to be clear. I don't want NASCAR. I think they actually made the right call this weekend by not touching any of this. But the fact that, guys like Priest and Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace did it too, right?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Yep.
And I guess that's a different sheriff was in town at that point. So maybe we can ignore that one. But in the same season, we have occurrences where similar things have happened, and one guy gets put in peril of missing the playoffs, and then these other guys, who I guess really none of them are in danger except for SVG, and I guess Carson's in the mix too, but he's pretty safe at this point, I think. Yeah. That's suddenly okay, and we're going to have the boys have at it thing happen, just because no one said anything about it. And anyone watching that could tell it was what went down. There's no accidents there.
Yeah.
So I think that's that pissed me off pretty good, and I would hope that. And again, if this is how it's going to be going forward, great. I hope Ryan Priest is the last guy that gets screwed by something like this. But we don't have a big enough body of work from the new era of NASCAR or whatever we're going to try and frame this as to know whether or not they're going to be able to make these calls in the future. And hopefully they get better at actually policing this in the race rather than waiting until afterwards and dropping like a 50-point penalty on somebody or not at all.
Just let those two fight it out for all of our sakes.
Yeah. Don't take this from us, folks, please.
All right, and a couple other incidents to talk about.
We don't need to talk about this next one.
Yeah, we do. Kyle Larson spun himself out midway through the race, and all 4 flat. He was in the grass. He gets pulled out of the grass. He drives back all the way around the track on his splitter, 2 laps down, and just is never able to get the laps back, unfortunately. Not that he would have been in contention for the win afterwards. I mean, he was running. Was he leading when he spun, or was he in the top 5? I know he was up there when it happened.
Yeah, he was having a good day. He was doing his usual third place routine. He led some laps. I don't think that he would have. I don't know. There was some talk on the broadcast of him being the fastest car. I don't know if that was really true when Denny Hamlin's out there and there's other Toyotas. I think strategy-wise they might have had something, and really they were on track for another top 5 day, which is what they've been doing. And they've been doing the Chase Elliott playbook by just staying in the top 5 every single week and racking points up.
I mean, if it's any indication, you look at what happened with Byron, who was leading up until those last cycle of pit stops, and Briscoe jumped him as far as pits go and took the lead, and seemed like there was going to be a good battle, but he just faded off to 4th or whatever. So I mean, I'm not going to say that guaranteed that would have happened with Larson, but I mean, you can kind of infer that might have been what
I mean, the Hendrick cars seem to have good short run speed. They can hold the mail for a little while, but most of the Gibbs guys and the 2311 guys have to do is just wait, especially Denny and in this case Chase Briscoe. They just had to wait for it to happen, and they just drove right around. So
yep,
rough year for the bow tie fans, but if you're a Camry owner, whoo, good stuff for you.
Well, it's funny. I mean, briefly talking about the manufacturer stuff. I mean, people talk about Toyota's advantage and what they're putting in the sport and all that, but you also kind of have to think, just from a consumer car standpoint, like Ford and Chevy aren't really doing anything, whereas Toyota still sells the Camry, which is one of the best cars on the market, for the price and for that type of vehicle. So, I mean, to me, it makes total sense why they'd put so much money into the racing programs, because they're still actually selling these cars to race fans. So
yeah, well, I mean, Ford is out to lunch anyway because they're spending their money on Formula One now.
Yeah,
but that's its own topic of discussion, which is in the notes, and we don't have time for that, but we can revisit that later because those guys are fucked right now.
But yeah, Chase Briscoe wins kind of narrowly, like almost the reverse of the week prior with SVG. I mean, Bell was running him down, but they were in lap traffic at the end, and Bell just wasn't able to pull it off.
Was that AJ Allmendinger he kind of got stuck behind?
Maybe I can't recall. But
I guess it's irrelevant. Whoever it was.
Yeah, it is. It is irrelevant. 7 Toyotas in the top 10. I think 3 of the Gibbs cars and 3 of the 2311 cars. The only one that didn't make it in the top 10. We had Bubba, Corey Heim, and Riley Herbst. Again, massive turnaround in his career after losing his ride. But
I'm actually supposed to go fast. I got you.
But no, poor Tyler Reddick, who also had a fast car, he ended up getting a piece of a splitter through his radiator and oil cooler, and that didn't end his day, but it obviously took him way far out of contention.
What a mess!
Chocolate milk all over his car.
Yeah, It was gross looking. That was a disgusting looking car. Hope they make the diecast for that.
Probably not. Yeah, he is now 40-something points out of the lead, which again is crazy to think about. 7 or 8 races ago, the lead he had, and now he's in second to his team owner. But we'll see what happens. He's in a low point right now, but we still got a few races left until the chase starts. So we'll see how that all plays out.
But yeah, shout out to Chase Briscoe. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's all I have. Shout out to Chase Briscoe.
Well, I was instantly annoyed when Chase Briscoe wins, because how are you going to have the guy who's never eaten a hot dog or drank a beer in his life win on America's birthday? So
what does that have to do with anything? That's
just was so un-American.
And to further your point, in the heart of hot dog country, which is Illinois,
and
Chicago dog is pretty important.
In the post-race, show, they bring out a tray of hot dogs and everybody eats one except for him, which that annoyed me. Like, this is your chance. Have a bite of a fucking hot dog.
Be a man. Become a man tonight.
Yeah. Also, like, they showed Jamie Mack shoving a hot dog in his mouth, and then he makes this really weird face for a long time, and I was laughing because I thought that he just was disgusted by the hot dog, but he revealed to the internet later that he was making that face because he was watching Marty Smith knock all the toppings off of his hot dog before he ate it, and he was repulsed by Marty too.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, if you have not had a Chicago-style hot dog, that is probably top of the board for me.
Oh, I mean, chili dogs aren't anywhere. Chili dogs are the top, but Chicago dogs are fine.
Yeah. They're just so different. But Chase Briscoe doesn't know that, and he never will. He looks like Pete Campbell in the 70s from Mad Men, which I just finished watching for the 8th time in a row, so all the Mad Men references I make on this show will slowly fade away as the summer moves on.
I thought it was funny, too, that when Chase Briscoe won, he climbed up on top of the car and the track blasted Born in the USA, of course. And someone on Twitter pointed out, what were they going to play if Suarez or SVG won? Guess we'll never know.
Land Down Under.
Yeah, which still isn't correct. It's not from Australia, but he's not from America either, so I guess we can stick with the Springsteen there.
Close enough. Well, I mean, playing a very actually anti-American song that's just Born in the USA is very on brand for NASCAR as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no one apparently has ever listened to the actual lyrics of that song.
Nope.
But I encourage you to, and we'll see if it keeps showing up at the barbecue.
Any other notes?
They had the wrestling match after the race.
Excuse me?
The two fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Which was funny. I enjoyed that. Very, very cute. That is something I would have done in my younger years.
I couldn't tell if the people on Twitter who were talking about it as a real fight were being serious or not. It's very clearly these two guys realize they're on camera and they're going to put on a show. My favorite part of the whole thing was this dude doing a very cartoonish uppercut, and the guy he fake punches just spits water all over the place.
Well, that is a signature Stone Cold move.
It is, yeah.
Yes. So, very good.
Brilliant stuff from those boys, and who, if you thought that was real, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Any last notes, True Love?
Nope, it's time to gloat about you for a minute, if you're ready.
Oh, yes. Yes, we do. Am I going to get a siren ring or what?
No, you don't live here.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, hold on. We hadn't talked about the fantasy league yet, but let's get to Brian
That's
first.
What we're talking about. That's what we're talking about is the fantasy league.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the
I have 2 wins. I have 2 straight wins to talk about. We're telling my first one.
It was a big weekend for you.
Does Ohio have any, special bells or whistles?
I don't fucking know.
Probably like a chemical spill or something. Anytime Brian wins a fantasy race, they dump a bunch of chemicals into the fucking lake.
Meth factory explosion.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally, though.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been top 5 in my way to the top of the board all season. Finally, I get my first victory by only 1 point, but I pulled it off. I had to use my last Denny of the season, but he said this was probably his best chance to win of the next few races anyway, so
I think this was my last Denny Hamlin use as well. Yes, it was.
Yep, but
damn,
I'll take it.
So yeah, Brian,
congratulations.
Big winner. 1 point over Garfield's feet in second. And third was, I don't think I've said this name on the show before, but third place was your mom's Ahosavar. So.
That is one of my people, so yeah.
Nice. Rob 7th, and I was way back in 17th because I had Reddick and Larson in my lineup, and so I had to keep Larson in.
That's
so that screwed me, but
whoops.
Congrats to Brian finally getting a win.
Yeah, I feel like this. Now, just to close this, I think the actual siren for Cleveland would be just a giant trash bag full of Skyline chili leftovers being dumped into a plastic Lowe's bucket.
There are no Skylines in Cleveland anymore. Skyline is a Cincinnati thing. So no, that is blasphemy.
There's no Skylines in Cleveland, really?
No, there used to be one like a mile from my house, but it closed during COVID and never reopened. And yeah, they're all gone. But Skyline's kind of trash, anyways. Not that.
I like chili on spaghetti. Yeah, I would imagine it's.
Well, I like the Skyline chili. Like, people say stuff about the sweetness of it. I like it, but like anytime I've gone to a Skyline, like it just the presentation isn't good. The fries aren't good. Like, it's overpriced. It's not that great, but yeah. But anyways, I won, so that's all that matters.
That is all that matters, and you just kept winning.
Overall standings, Flavortown McLeod's still leading, but Brian moves up 2 spots to second, which knocks Chris Davis down to third, and Rob also moved up 1 more spot to 6. So.
Well, there's only 14 points between first and fourth, so we're a very tight battle up front.
Yeah, even fifth is pretty well in the mix still. I think I've maxed out for the season here. I kind of feel like 6th is probably the ceiling unless some crazy stuff happens between here and the playoffs. So I guess the reset could make a difference because this does reset. You get drivers back once they start the playoffs in a limited capacity. So that changes the game a little bit. But I think from 6th on back, we're all kind of fighting with each other because I got about 120 points to get to 5th at this point, and I just don't think that's going to happen.
Not with that fucking attitude.
Yeah, well, it's just the math, buddy. It's me and Zane Smith out there cruising around.
Well, the real reason that Brian was propelled to victory this weekend was his choice in beverages.
Oh,
So
I know what that is.
Do that as your siren earlier.
Yeah,
that could be my siren. Yeah, I'm drinking a Busch Light Lime as we speak right now.
A live review on the show. This is excellent.
Yes, I did get an update. A friend of the show and listener, Adam Laporta, sent me a message on, I think it was Saturday. He's like, "Oh, they're here." So I went out and found them, and they're fine. Like, they are exactly what I thought they were going to be. They taste almost exactly like Bud Light Limes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're fine. I'll probably get a 12-pack or 2 while I can.
Where does this fit in the Busch flavor power rankings?
I mean, apple is still number 1. I did do a apple lime drink combo, and like it didn't taste like anything. Like, it every sip, like one sip, it'd be like, oh, this kind of tastes like lime. And the next sip, oh, this kind of tastes like apple. And it just made this weird, indiscernible flavor that didn't make any sense.
Separates like salad dressing does.
Yeah, it was strange. But speaking of the flavors, I did not believe this, but Ross Chastain in one of his interviews said they actually were doing taste tests of all 3 flavors they're gonna do the vote for at the track, which was pretty crazy.
Saw that.
I wish I could have taken advantage of that. Yeah.
I'll have to see if it's at Atlanta this weekend, but it was probably just a Chicago thing.
Yeah, the watermelon is intriguing to me, not just because of the obvious sponsorship tie. It's not watermelon?
It's not one of them. It's peach, lemon, and orange, which I, as someone who loved Bud Light Orange, hope orange wins. So, but I'll take peach.
An orange beer or a Radler is pretty good, so I guess I'm with you on that.
I'm very proud of you for completing your homework task.
I mean, I always said I was going to do it.
How many of these can you drink like at a time? Like, is it one of those where you get like 1 or 2 in, you're like, okay, that's enough of that flavor?
I think about 4 or 5 is enough. Then it's just like I don't want to drink 4 or 5 of anything of one flavor. Like, it's not because it's lime or beer in general. It's just like, you got to drink something else in between a couple, but they're good. I mean, like I said, I'll definitely get a few, although my corner store only has like 3 apple cases left, so I'm probably going to try to buy all those and stock up on them. So
it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I think we should jump ahead here. We're still talking about Chicago, since I think this is appropriate to do so. Overall, the weekend in Chicago was pretty successful. Obviously, for Brian, big wins coming for him from 2 different angles, so congratulations. It was a sellout crowd. I don't know what that number actually would be, but they sold all the tickets they were selling, so good for them. Yep. Racing I thought was great. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much what we expected. The threat for me, because I don't like street course races all that much, but the rumor has been that the Chicago street course is in the mix for next year's schedule.
Yep.
Which, after what we saw last Sunday, it kind of confirmed my suspicions that I wouldn't be thrilled with that news if it came to fruition. But Ben Kennedy, in an interview with somebody, I forget, was it Matt Weaver? Was it Front Stretch? I think it was Front Stretch.
Sure.
He reveals that not only is the Chicago street race in the mix, but they are in talks with the city of Chicago of holding it on Memorial Day weekend, which... it
would be an absolute travesty.
That makes my blood boil. And look, I understand there were problems with this weekend. Maybe this was just a Band-Aid to get them to the next street race in Chicago. I think that's a shame if that's the case, because the track showed it still had it. Obviously, there's structural problems and infrastructure problems, but, those can be repaired.
But they've said that they might do both next year. Like, the racing was good and the attendance was good, and they might just do both, and that market can handle both of them.
And I would be okay with that as well, but to take the Memorial Day weekend away from Charlotte, the Coke 600, which, by the way, a real crown jewel. It's one of the ones I was complaining about having its title ruined by calling San Diego something of that importance, which it isn't, respectfully. And I don't know what these guys are thinking if they're going to do that, and that begs the question: is Charlotte going to one date? Or is the Coke 600 going to be a big deal if it's not on that weekend? Formula One obviously doesn't give a shit about IndyCar and the greatest day of motorsport stuff, but I'm not watching this if they do this. I'm just not watching it. I'm sorry.
Why would you kill a chance at the double ever again by doing this too?
And sports have, and sorry to rant here, this really does piss me off legitimately. It takes a long time to build traditions in sports that mean something. Like the Super Bowl has grown over however many years they've been doing it into one of the biggest sporting events in the world because of the heritage and the history and the importance of what it means. The Southern 500 is another one of those. In fact, NASCAR has done this before. They tried to take that one away at one point.
Took that away, and we are still getting people wanting the 4th of July, 400 back at Daytona.
Yeah, at Daytona. Exactly. That one's gone too. That was another one that kind of fit the bill. This would be like saying, you know what, we're going to go to San Diego to open the season up. We're going to move Daytona to April. The Daytona 500 is going to be in April now, which it just doesn't make sense. You have these tent post items in your season that mean something, and the whole year is built around them. And do we really need? As if I have anything to do with it, other than being a fan, but does the sport really need to upend and remove one of those tent posts potentially to move forward? I just don't understand this at all. And that race is generally really good too. And they get the feed in directly from the 500. So I don't really know what we're doing here at all. But I've said a lot. I don't know if I've said anything really other than just being frustrated, but I actually have no words for this. I don't understand why they'd even consider this.
Thankfully it doesn't sound like it's actually going to happen, but it's incredibly stupid and short-sighted for them to even consider doing that. So
and I would encourage Ben Kennedy to also not push the button as well. I'm going to extend Ryan Priest's advice to him. And don't say things like that, please.
Well, I'm glad that he said it so that he can hear from all of us.
How stupid he sounds.
Much we fucking hate that idea.
Yeah.
Have fun in Chicago. Everyone will be in Charlotte waiting for you to run 600 miles.
Exactly.
Now on to some IndyCar news. So I will say this: I didn't go, obviously, but I did watch the Mid-Ohio race because I had nothing else to do, and it was, it was on, and it was a pretty good race. It almost made me regret not going, but then I realized if I was at the track, there'd be a lot of data and a lot of the storyline stuff that was going on with Renus VK and all that I would have missed just being there. But it did seem like a good race, and I enjoyed watching it. But Yeah, let's see here. So Scott Dixon leaving Ganassi to go over to McLaren, and then also Felix Rosenqvist, this year's Indy 500 winner. He's going over to McLaren as well, pushing out Christian Lundgaard, who is like
second in the points.
One of the highest. I think the highest point scorer for McLaren, maybe. And
he is. Yep.
Seems. I don't really follow IndyCar too closely, so but it all seems like some pretty wild moves. And Rob,
also Nolan Siegel is. Yeah, Nolan Siegel's taking his dad's wallet somewhere else, which whatever, that's fine. But yeah, this is a lot of people on Twitter. Of course, Will Buxton being the lead commentator on the Fox broadcast, he tweeted out that there was earth-shattering news coming. And, of course, he's used to be a Formula One pundit and still kind of is in a small capacity. And all the F1 fans were like, oh, God, here, Max Verstappen's leaving Red Bull to go to Mercedes and just making shit up. Forgetting the fact that IndyCar exists in the first place. And also that he's very clearly talking about Scott Dixon. This rumor's been around for about a month. Well, not a month, maybe a couple weeks. This has been kind of bubbling up. And it finally happened, and it's true in the IndyCar world. This is earth-shattering. This is the biggest move we've seen in at least 20 years. I mean, Dixon has spent his entire career at Ganassi and won a ton of championships. Honestly, from my perspective, I don't think it's really all that surprising, especially when you have Alex Palou as the leader of the team now, or at least the winner at the team. And I feel like Scott Dixon realizes he is probably not going to get the opportunities that he needs to be that guy again, because Alex Palou is kind of the new version of him. So if he's going to try and extend his legacy and win another 500 and win more championships, he might need to go somewhere else. And the only place besides Penske he could go really is McLaren, because McLaren will take big steps like that, and they seem to have a pretty loose grasp on contract law. So they'll go try and get whoever they want. And that's what they've done with Scott Dixon here. So that move actually isn't all that confusing to me. It makes perfect sense, and I'm very curious to see how this goes. They bring fast cars. They've been a little bit off this year with everybody except for Lundgaard, but they did win this weekend, so that's a bad example, I suppose. But also picking up Felix Rosenqvist, that's interesting. Especially when you're letting go of Christian Lundgaard. Rosenqvist is a good driver, but he's a veteran. He's been around a long time, and he won the 500. But the 500 is only the second race he's ever won in his IndyCar career, and he had a stint at Ganassi a few years back. So we're literally getting like the 2015 Ganassi lineup coming to McLaren. It seems like they might be going all in on trying to win the 500 as their goal here. They're certainly capable of winning championships, but letting a guy like Lundgaard go this early in his career, that could prove to be a pretty huge mistake, I think, because he's really impressed this year. I think he's won 3 races, 2 races, 3 races. I don't know. He's good. Again, second in the points. He's beating everyone on the team, and now he's out of a job. So, interesting moves by Tony Kanaan, the competition director. Also, another little announcement that kind of got lost in all of this, Ryan Hunter-Reay, who is also the competition director there. I'm sorry, Tony Kanaan's team principal. Ryan Hunter-Reay is the competition director. He's going to be running the 500 next year, so good to see that. I guess my boy Frank will get to work one more year at the 500, so I'm going to have to go next year so I can go see him. But, yeah. Crazy shit. We're going to see how it lands. And this does kind of open up IndyCar silly season in a major way, because someone is going to need to pick up Christian Lundgaard fast. And I wouldn't be surprised if Andretti tried to make a hole. I don't know how long Will Power's contract is, but that experiment's not going well. And if I were him, I'd be worried with a guy like Christian Lundgaard out there. And Ganassi, of course, now needs someone to replace Dixon, so that could prove fatal as well. But who knows? We're going to find out.
Yes, we will.
That's the most intense IndyCar analysis we've had all season for a series we don't talk about except for the 500. But that's how big this news is. I'm telling you, it's insane.
I didn't even know there was an IndyCar race this weekend. I don't know who won it.
Pato.
It did make me go check my Brickyard 400 tickets that still don't work. So.
Yeah.
yeah.
Update on that, folks. Yeah, we still don't have tickets. I know.
TBD.
My friend Dylan's tickets said they were listed for resale. I am still debating going, just because why the fuck not? We'll see. Even if I don't have a free ticket.
What, Indy's 6 hours from you?
4.5. So it is possible. Yeah. It's possible for me to do it there and back in one day. Very long day, but it's possible. But
and let's be honest, folks, there's going to be plenty of tickets available at the gate.
Yeah,
you're going to be able to go to this race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Xfinity might be outside the gate handing out tickets. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the ones they couldn't sell that they took away from us.
Yep.
Back to some sort of NASCAR adjacent news. We found out why Frankie Muniz has been so moody this season. He's getting divorced. And he posted this with a very long-winded, very nice praising post of his ex-wife or soon-to-be ex-wife. And they also posted a video of of themselves dancing, celebrating their pending divorce. But then that was quickly deleted because apparently nobody wants to see that. But
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Frankie, listen, he's back on the market now, and he should just go run sports cars because he seems to do decent enough there, and he's actually winning races and doing fine. So,
but hey, all you fire suit chasers out there, this is ripe for the pick. And not only can you find a NASCAR driver to take you out to Ruth's Chris or Steak 48 or whatever the fuck it's called in Charlotte, but you get a TV star in the mix too. Yeah, so. Submit your applications to Meet Me at Applebee's. Send them on to Frankie.
Speaking of TV, although not really TV, it's the internet, Ryan Blaney has a new YouTube series. I already forgot the name of it, but essentially he just interviews guests. Yeah, on the gas. Interviews guests while driving around a track in a race car at full speed. I didn't get to watch this, but I very much enjoy the concept. It seems, plenty of people, celebrities and stuff have done this type of interview show. Obviously we know about Jerry Seinfeld and, coffee, comedians in cars with coffee, whatever bullshit. And nobody's ever done it in a race car before. Very interesting choice of a first guest in Keegan-Michael Key of Key and Peele. I'm sure it's entertaining. It seems like it got good reviews, and I'm sure I'll eventually check it out, and I'm curious to see who else he gets to do it. But Blaney's he's a very good media guy off the track, so this is a good move for him, I think.
Yeah, he definitely has a job once he decides he's done racing cars, which won't be for a while, but if he changes his mind, that guy will be in the booth or behind a mic, no question about it. Or at least he could if he wanted to.
Yeah.
They let him say F-bombs and cussing on the NASCAR channel. So.
Well, good.
That's good.
I appreciate that.
They don't let us do that.
In other media news, the name of the band is not in the notes, so I couldn't fucking tell you. But some band, what was the band's True Love?
Lombardi.
That's it, Lombardi. That's the name of the band. Yep. They came out with a song called 1992 Hooters 500, and I listened to maybe a minute of this, and A, it was trash, and B, there was nothing to do with the Hooters 500 in this track at all.
I'm old
Rob
and couldn't understand the lyrics.
Rob is the actual musician on the show. What's your review?
I will not be listening to it again.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'm sure people like it. I'm not one to judge people on their musical taste. I try not to be anyway. It's all subjective, but it's not doing anything for me. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did film a music video at Nashville Fairgrounds, and I did spot a billboard for that Appalachian Sucker Punch that Rob talked about recently. So.
It's apparently real.
It's apparently real.
It is real.
Noah Gregson likes it.
Yeah, but yeah, I listened to it like once and probably about half of the song before I shut it off. It's definitely got that like fake Whiskey Myers thing going on a little bit. I don't know anything about this band. It feels very much like maybe a little put together, but I don't know. I'm not going to judge anybody on that. But yeah, unfortunately, I will not be. I was going to say, this type of race baiting doesn't work on me.
It is.
Sorry, boys.
It's no Jerry was a race car driver, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. Well, what is? Yeah.
Exactly. Back to racing though. The infamous blind race at what track is it in Quebec? I forget.
It's called Autodrome Granby.
Yes, Autodrome Granby, yes. This happened last week, and there were some fun clips online. For some reason, I don't think I realized until watching this clip that they actually have, like, co-drivers, trying to help spot them, but it doesn't really help. People are still ending up in the fence and crashing.
You never know they were there.
Cars and stuff. It's well worth your time seeking out these clips. I'm sure we'll.
There's one. I mean, there's so many cars out there. There's too many cars out there, honestly, and so many of them are like broken down or stuck, and there's like just bumper trash everywhere, all over the track.
Yeah. It's an enduro essentially. That's all it is.
Yeah. Oh, the one I laughed until I cried watching. It was a car broken down, stuck, so they're just sitting there waiting for the race to end, and one of the blind guys comes hauling ass through there and rear ends the fuck out of them, and both of their airbags go off, and I just can't imagine how scary that was to just be sitting there and then getting punched in the face by that airbag.
Yeah. Incredible stuff.
That video clip was the highlight of my week.
Yeah.
That should be the NASCAR Electric Series whenever that pops up.
So this coming weekend is Atlanta, and True Love will be there. She'll be on the premises as always.
We'll be there sweating. Just sweating mostly. Sea lions will be there. Maybe I'll jump in their tank. Might cool me off.
Yep.
And they're boiling in their tanks. Yeah, I don't know. There's potential weather that day, typical southern pop-up storm, so we'll see. I was looking at the entertainment schedule earlier to see who was going to be at trackside giving interviews to decide if I want to get there early for that. And their lineup this weekend is Ricky Stenhouse, Zane Smith, and Cody Ware. So
the boys.
Perfect. Get there early.
Interviewed by Marty Smith and Corey LaJoy.
I also, as if IKEA on a Saturday isn't hell on earth enough, I did see that Hocevar is doing an appearance at the Atlanta IKEA this Saturday. So
very cool.
Won't be there. The one thing really I wanted to talk about, though, was I think Brian sent this over from one of the camping groups, but there's a gentleman named Dean Stauffer who is prepping nothing but cauliflower for his...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. This is an incredible photo.
It's just lots of Tupperware full of nothing but raw cauliflower.
Yeah,
And
he's like, Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the caption said something like, getting ready for a couple of weeks of NASCAR camping.
And then he says, got 5 heads clean, got 3 left to get in the freezer.
Like, I know cauliflower. You can do a lot of things with it, and make like fake wings with cauliflower. But that's a lot of cauliflower.
My reasonable guess is, and this guy really should have clarified this, is that he grows cauliflower in his garden or on his farm, and he's just prepping it and putting it in the freezer so it doesn't go bad while he's gone. However,
you would be wrong.
He did post this. Wait, is there more information? I'm not.
Yes. Someone in the comments asked him if he has a special diet, and he said no. And then he gave us the recipe, what he does with it. So he said he gets the raw cauliflower, and then he cuts it up, and he microwaves it, and then he freezes it. And then he takes it camping with him at the NASCAR race and puts it on his Blackstone. So he soaks it in butter, garlic powder, onion powder, garlic salt, Italian seasoning, and Italian breadcrumbs, and then he browns it on the grill. So he said he's camping at Atlanta and North Wilkesboro, and he is only eating cauliflower, so he's just farting it up.
I was going to say, cauliflower gets me gassy, so stay away from that guy. It sounds tasty.
It does. I will say I prep cauliflower like that, or pretty similarly, pretty often, minus the Blackstone, of course, but wow, okay. Very, very cool.
He's bringing something to eat besides cauliflower, but
nope.
He'll be in Atlanta and North Wilkesboro, so if I
your job, True Love, is to track him down and get a taste of this stuff, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Are you going for Saturday and Sunday, or are you just going for the Cup race?
Nah, I'm just going on Sunday.
Nice.
So.
That's enough humidity for last you for a while. Well, hell, say hi to the sea lions for me, and as always, we can't wait to hear your report on Atlanta. How many times have you gone now? Do you know?
I've been going to every race since Elliott joined the Cup Series, except for COVID. They wouldn't let us.
Yeah.
So
you do the math at home, folks. That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, my first race there I was 18, but I haven't missed one since Elliott started.
Yeah, I will say I'm very excited for Atlanta. You all know my aversion to plate racing in its current iteration, or super speedway racing, but Atlanta has chosen to be something different. Yeah, it's truly its own style of racing, and I'm very excited to make my parents watch this with me on Sunday night. It's going to be good. Hopefully the rain stays away.
Yeah.
I'll cook up some cauliflower.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'll give it a shot. They got a Blackstone sitting out there on the porch, so maybe that's what I'll do.
That's it. You have to.
I'll get started on that.
All right. Well, with that, now it's time to dive in the septic tank, and I can actually kind of start this one out, unfortunately. Sort of.
Oh.
Well, I mean, Mansfield.
Who died?
So,
I got you. Yeah.
Nobody died this week, so no sad news.
Yeah, Lucas Oil was supposed to be at Mansfield, but and Brian was considering going. But
no, they're supposed to be at. It was supposed to be at Atomic,
right?
And they got moved to Mansfield like last minute. I think after we even recorded last week. But, looking at the weather, it's like, the weather looks iffy. It's going to be, this is still in the middle of the heat wave. But then it's like, Davenport showing up and T-Mac showing up. It's like, not to mention the fact Bubbles showed up. The blind fucking dog in the goddamn heat. They had him at the racetrack. That was like, oh, man, I really want to go. But then I just knew.
Yeah, fresh off his start in the race at Granby.
Yeah. I just had a feeling it wasn't going to work out, and unfortunately it didn't. They got 3 heats in, and the start of the 4th heat it was a very quick, pretty violent storm, because we got it here in Cleveland too. It didn't last incredibly long, but I mean it was enough to where the whole track was evacuated, and their night was done. So again, not regretting my choice of staying at home, because I would have just wasted hours and dollars driving there. So
it's almost as if finding this Busch Light Lime has given you a sixth sense here. It's justified your aversion to weather. Lucas Oil did get some racing in Muskegon County. Max Blair put on a fuck of a show. He came from pretty far back in the field to pick up the win. There was a late caution that almost took it out of his hands. I think he was racing Brandon Shepard for the win, but managed to hold him off. Max Blair has arrived, folks. That guy is fast as hell right now, and you can expect to see him climb through the Lucas standings even further as the year progresses. And pick him up on Dirt Draft while you still can, and he's not $21,000, because I think this is... it's his time, that's for sure. World of Outlaw late models, they were not spared rain drama, but Bobby Pierce did pick up a win in Norman County before the Stormers moved in. Deer Creek did rain out in its entirety. They canceled that. They might have even canceled that after we recorded the show.
The go for 50. Oh,
that's at Deer Creek, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The whole week, they scrapped the whole weekend before they even got to it. So we were expecting more cars to show up at Mansfield. In fact, Devin Moran had some. That's his family runs that racetrack, and he had some sly comments about how he was a little ashamed that the World of Outlaw guys all chickened out and decided not to drive up. But looks like the forecast and the actual weather conditions kind of justified the decision to not make it out there.
Yeah.
Of course, Brian has announced that he is a World of Outlaw fan primarily, so seems like him and his team made the right choice this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bobby Pierce keeps winning. He's on top of the points by 3 million. That'll continue through the rest of the year. Best dirt racing of the weekend was definitely at the BC 39 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Briggs Danner picking up a win off some big dog shit. That guy kept the lead all night. He was fighting Cannon McIntosh for most of the evening, and expecting Cannon to do his usual right rear routine and wreck him or have something go down that would take it away from Briggs. Was not to be denied. Picks up his first BC 39 win. If I had to sit through another Cannon McIntosh win, I was going to drive my head through the drywall because it would have been his fourth one, I think. And nobody wants to see that except for his dad. But Kevin Thomas Jr. coming in second, Jacob Denny in third, Cannon McIntosh in fourth. Good run for him despite the fact that he didn't win. He's so good at this place. And Cale Drake rounding out the top five. That racetrack is awesome. It really has become a very special place. And I got to get to the BC 39 at some point. It's not just the sentimentality of the event or the tribute to Brian Clausen. This really is becoming some of the best racing in the country for midgets. And I'm glad this one's here to stay. And I got to get out there. And you should too, because the racing is so good at this place. Also, last night, Gavin Miller picked up a win at Mitchell County over Cannon McIntosh. Gavin Miller, we all know I don't like him either, but he did feed Cannon McIntosh some of his own bullshit by feeding him a right rear coming to the finish. Watched that right before I drifted off to Dreamland to wake up at 4 a.m. To come to the airport and get to see my folks. But yeah, good stuff. USAC racing right now is so good. I don't talk about it that much on here, mostly for time. And just because there's a lot of little rich kids out there. But at the same time, it's some of the most ballsy racing you're ever going to see. It's all on Flow Racing. Anytime you see a USAC midget show on there, make sure you tune in. It'll get you primed up for the Chili Bowl and make you want to go out and see that. Yeah, it's good stuff. On the pavement side of things, NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour was at Seekonk, the Cement Palace, and Matt Hirschman resumed being Matt Hirschman and picked up a win there. Not had the best year this year, but he was able to silence people trying to say that he was maybe washed up. In fact, in his Victory Lane interview, the quote of the night was, "I shut all those people down for so many years that it doesn't bother me anymore," which is awesome. I've seen Matt Hirschman absolutely wipe the floor with people plenty of times at Seekonk, and it's not a surprise to see him do it here. But nice to see him get a win. It's been a little few and far between this year, which is kind of crazy. Usually, if it's a big money show or a NASCAR show, he's up at the front, but hasn't been the case this year. But yeah, Hirschman certainly is back, at least for 1 week into the year. Onto our little random note section here. The cauliflower smell in the septic tank is very strong, so we're going to try and move through this as quickly as possible. But the fight we talked about last weekend that earned Emerson Axum a, not suspension, but a probation from the World of Outlaws and a $500 fine. We did get a little clarification on what happened. It sounds like he did actually fight Casey Jedrzejczyk as a result of whatever on-track action they had together last week. So good for him. Love to see that. Now I'm going to get angry again. This pisses me off. Hank Davis is out of the 17 GP sprint car in the High Limit Series. Big Hank Davis fan. He's a good kid. I've met him. Really nice guy. Great race car driver. I've never met anyone who doesn't like Hank Davis, but he got released and replaced with Brock Zierfoss, which that bums me out.
What kind of made-up name is that?
Yeah, I don't know, True Love. It sounds like it came out of a PlayStation game, but and Brock is not a bad driver. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan by any stretch of the imagination, but Hank has been logging top 10s and a few top 5s here and there. Like, he's doing all right in that car, which is not the class of the field by any stretch of the imagination. But Hank has acquitted himself very well in his first full-time year of 410 competition. And I'm real pissed off to see this happen. That car is a bit of a revolving door, so honestly not much of a surprise, but still hurts my feelings. And hopefully Hank lands himself a seat somewhere else in the High Limit Series so he can continue his Rookie of the Year campaign. And we'll see what Brock can do in that car. I bet you it's going to be just about the same as we've seen out of Hank. But at least the check's bigger, right? Speaking of drivers moving, over on the late model side of things, of course, we talked about G.R. Smith's car being vacant. Zach Mitchell is going to be the guy moving in there, and we'll see how he does in there. That is a fast piece, and this is a good chance for Zach Mitchell to do big things since Drake Troutman left the team. And we'll see what happens with Lucas Oil goes into action this weekend. And also, before we move on to the calendar here, we don't talk about birthdays on this show very often. Usually it's deaths, which is the opposite of a birthday, but we're gonna have a birthday. Happy birthday, Jack Hewitt, one of the greatest to ever do it. He turned 75 today. I honestly thought he was older, but he doesn't look it. He's got a big mustache still, and he's still the man, living off Wendy's and not drinking. That guy is, again, one of the best to ever sit behind the wheel. That if you're a NASCAR only fan, you might not have heard his name, or you're only familiar with him from his famous interview where he encouraged someone to go kiss his dick. But celebrate Jack's birthday by picking up his book. It's called Hewitt's Law. It's great. And if you see him at Eldora, he'll sign it for you. So happy birthday, Jack. Hope you got many more ahead of you. He's a character, and he's definitely one of the last of that particular breed. So, yeah, many more returns for you, sir. Lots of racing coming up this weekend. I have a pretty short list here, but this is only about 10% of what's going on. If you have any sort of streaming capability, there's something for you this weekend. At my current home track of Claremont, New Hampshire, NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour is making its return there. First time since 2018, I believe, and only the third time in about 30 years, or maybe even longer than that. But that's going to be a great show. Joined by the Granite State Pro Stocks and the SMAC 350 Supers. You can catch the action on my home, pitrow.tv, and of course the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour is going to be exclusively on Flow. Kind of need two streaming services to deal with that. Don't understand the politics behind it, but it is what it is. That's going to be a good show. You can get your tickets for that event on PitPay, which my buddy Frank puts together. So make Frank some money, would you? World of Outlaw late models are at State Line as we're recording this show. I don't have any results yet because they haven't finished, but we'll talk about it next week. And they're going to be at Sharon for the Battle of the Border. That's going to be a good show. Brian, you going to that?
I may be there on Saturday.
Nice.
I'm still figuring that out.
Good for you. Lucas Oil late models are at 34 Raceway and Wheatland for the weekend. Wheatland is only 2 hours away from here, but there's no way I can convince my parents to drive me up there to see it. And renting a car would be a bad idea because I'm here to see my folks and it would hurt their feelings. So I'll be watching that one on Flow Racing with them down in the basement. But if you're in the Missouri area or Kansas, make sure you get over there. That's going to be a good show. World of Outlaws have a big weekend coming up, the sprint car side, that is. They're going to be at Hartford, Wilmot, and Attica for the Brad Doty Classic. Brian, you going to be there for that?
So I will probably be. I'm almost certainly going to be there for that, so that means we'll probably be recording Wednesday next week also.
Nice. There you go. A Wednesday show in the summer. It gets too hot. We got to push it back. High Limit's going to be at Fremont on Monday. You going to be there?
No, I got to work, so I will not be at that.
Damn. Well, it's going to be on Flow Racing, so you can watch it there. And on the asphalt side, we talked about Claremont already, but a really big show at Slinger, the Slinger Nationals, happening on Monday of all days. Karsten Hocevar, Ty Majeski, and Tristan McKee, if you can call him a NASCAR star. Those are the big NASCAR entrants on the list. Also, Rich Bickle, still racing. He's going to be out there. Carson Brown is going to be there. Stephen Nassy. A lot of big timers. This is a huge asphalt super late model event. And, it's definitely one of the crown jewels in that world, so make sure you check that out. I don't know if that one's on Prime or not. I feel like it might not be, but, again, make sure to check Amazon Prime, search for Flow Racing. They show free shows on there all the time. It's a wide swath of racing from high limit all the way to the asphalt stuff. If you don't have a flow account or streaming, or you're just curious about what I'm talking about here in the septic tank, that's a good entry point for you, because we all have Prime accounts, right? You got to buy your cheap shit from China somewhere, and you get dirt racing with that sometimes. So it's a good deal. But that's it for the septic tank this week. I may or may not be at Arrowhead Speedway in Concord, Oklahoma this weekend. There's a big, the Oil Capital 360 series is going to be out there for a late 4th of July show. There's going to be fireworks in about 15 divisions. My favorite name of the divisions is the Johnson & Johnson Baby Oil Crown Victoria division. So weather might be affecting that one. It might also be hot as hell, so we'll see if we make it out to that or not. But if I am at Arrowhead and you see me walking around and anyone from Oklahoma is listening to this, come say what's up. I'd love to have a beer with you and get some of that dark clay slung at us. But until next time, that's the septic tank, and we'll go ahead and flush this thing down and all the cauliflower that comes with it. I love that my parents are in the next room just listening to me do this shit right now. Just debasing myself as a 42-year-old man making toilet noises for his online radio show. It's great. Yeah. Feeling real big right now. On to the video of the week. What do you say?
Yeah, this is...
Mike fell over.
Yes.
It was an all Bill Elliott video of the week segment this
amazing.
week.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll get into that in a minute. See, this was a little documentary that I believe ESPN produced about Bill Elliott from 1989. It started off with the first of a couple very brief Bill Coors commercials. And then it gets into the intro. Benny Parsons is hosting this, of course.
Always a good sign.
Yes. Always a good sign when Benny's involved in one of these videos. And it starts off at Rockingham, as that's where Bill Elliott made his first Cup Series start in 1976. And it'll also end at Rockingham. We'll get to that in a minute. Starts off, Benny kind of goes over some of his early highlights. Bill gets his first pole in 1981, his first win in 1983. He wins the Winston Million in 1985, and he's the champion in 1988. We get into the first of many interviews with Bill and Benny. Bill talks about he asked about his first start, and he says he was a little green. Was actually supposed to start at Atlanta, but didn't make the race. He talks about it took all 3 days to get into the show at the Rock, because that's what they used to do back then. And they talked about how they forgot to unblock the oil cooler and only made it like 30 laps into the race. Someone who doesn't know a ton about Bill's history and how he got into racing in general, this was somewhat educational. He talked about how his dad built race cars in the 60s but never drove, and didn't really succeed much with racing. It's just kind of something he did as a hobby, it seems like. Bill said he had never even been to a cup race until he was starting in one, which was pretty wild to hear. And he also made it sound like he wasn't even really that much of a racing fan until he started driving. So, where did he talks about the dream, accomplishing the dream. Where did the dream come from? It seems like you weren't even a racing guy. It's very confusing, those answers.
I mean, there's a lot of history of racers coming out of Dawsonville. I mean, there's been 4 people that have won the Daytona 500 just out of Dawsonville. So
yeah.
But Bill didn't seem incredibly thrilled about doing it. That's the thing. That was the
He just knew there was a siren that needed to be rung. Someone had to do it.
Yeah.
I think he went to local short tracks.
He did talk a little bit about that, but and his dad racing and stuff. Then he starts rambling about high school sports and putting pressure on kids, which was random. Then
We should also say that
oh, go ahead.
this entire interview is taking place in what looks like Benny Parsons' living room in mismatched corduroy recliners, and Bill is wearing acid wash jeans. So just to set the tone.
I've got another jean comment coming later, but we'll get to that.
Amazing jeans throughout this video.
Yeah. Now we go over to downtown Dawsonville and go to the pool room, of course, and we talked to, I didn't catch his name. I'm assuming it was either the owner or the manager at the time.
Gordon Perkle. He is a Dawsonville legend.
I see. And the place seemed a lot more cluttered than it does now from the photos I've seen. Like, I know some of that stuff is still on the walls, but it doesn't seem like all of it's still there. And that's correct, right, True Love?
I would say that 95% of the stuff is still on the walls. Like the sheet metal that they talked about is still on the walls. The front nose that they talked about is still on the ceiling. All the photos are the same. The only thing that's different from this video is that whole row of arcade games in the back is no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it looks the same.
And I forget, did it close for a while or no?
During COVID, it did, but
well, that doesn't count. I thought for some reason it had closed for a few years or something, but must be imagining that. Let's see here. So now we get back into some more highlights. They talk about his 1982 season before he was started winning. He talks about finishing second to Neil Bonnet in the World 600 that year, and Neil Bonnet was very complimentary and said he really had to work hard to hold Bill off. Then I don't know if it was the next week or it couldn't have been the next week, but later on in the season, he almost beat Richard Petty at Rockingham. He had a lot of seconds before finally winning at Riverside in 1983. He also managed to spin Benny Parsons in that race, and Benny gave him some shit about that, which was a nice little chuckle there. Here we get another brief Coors ad into a ESPN Speed Week clip about Bill winning the Winston Million, and they talk about him getting the Sports Illustrated cover. Bill talks about how he thought he wanted to clinch the million at Charlotte because he thought Darlington would be a lot tougher, but obviously the reverse happened there. Couldn't pull it off at Charlotte and got the pull at Darlington. Benny tries to get Bill to admit to whatever cheated up shit he had on his car back then, but Bill denied all of that and said he was probably more legal than anybody else on the track, which, come on, this is the 80s. Everybody was doing something at that point.
Yeah, he was, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. He said 1985, as great of a year as it was very stressful because they were a small team. And then Benny tries to insinuate that Bill kind of let off after winning the million, and that's why he didn't win the title that year. But really, Bill gets into how he had a handful of races that really shit the bed, and that's what ended his title run for that year. We see a clip of Bill's merch hauler, which I've probably owned about 95% of the shirts that they showed in that clip, whether I've in my own collection or sold them. And then the woman at the trailer is trying to hawk the new Bill Elliott Coke bottle, apparently. They talk about how he has a huge fan base, and they basically ask this entire row of fans waiting in line for something who they're there to see win, and about 85% of them say Bill Elliott, and then there's a handful of Dale Earnhardts in there.
There's two women that speak over each other when they're answering the question, and I swear to God I had to rewind it like 5 times because I thought the one lady said Bubba Wallace, and I was like, am I time traveling right now?
Yeah, he was alive in 85. So.
Well, they did turn the big collider in Switzerland off, so maybe something happened here.
He talks about winning the most popular driver award, which this has to go back to the conspiracy, the Dawsonville conspiracy of all the fans, because this is where I'm going to piss True Love off. I'm sorry to do this, but I get...
Thought we were having a wholesome Bill Elliott video moment here.
No, I get... On some level, I guess. On some level, I understand the whole, small town guy, gee shucks, I'm Bill Elliott, appeal, but there's also a big part of me that, doesn't really get it. Obviously he was a good driver, but as a personality, he's kind of just flat most of the time.
What?
Like,
I can watch these interviews all day.
Well, that's because you're a Bill Elliott fan.
And his mannerisms are fucking gold.
Yeah, I just don't. It doesn't work for me. I say this as someone who was a massive Ernie Irvan fan as a kid, and now when I go back and like watch his interviews and stuff, like I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I loved him as a driver, but like he had no personality either, really. So I can't really say a whole lot. But yeah, Bill just doesn't. You know, as far as him, it just doesn't do it for me. I guess. Again, I can appreciate his driving abilities, but the personality stuff just it's whatever.
Everyone just has different tastes in what they enjoy in people, because to me, like, this interview, every Bill Elliott interview is just gold to me. I could listen to him talk all day long.
Hey, each their own.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So back to the
you
interview.
can cut the tension in the room here with a knife.
I'm just so befuddled right now. I guess it's just different because I've grown up in the thick of this area, and just
it's
so much
totally
history.
different.
There's so much history here, and like people are really loyal to the fact that the Elliots throughout both of their careers have just been so loyal to this area too, like
which I can appreciate. Don't get me wrong. Like I can absolutely appreciate that.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, Brian, but at the same time, like I think that's why the fan base is what it is because it is loyal to that soil. You know, like how would I understand that? Because I'm not from Georgia. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, you know, that's all fair.
It's also why I defend Ryan Preece with an iron fist, even when it's not always warranted.
We get into his childhood a little bit, and he talks about how his dad made him come home from school and go right to work. He was working on the farm like before he was 10, driving on the highway in a truck at age 14. But he says Ernie, his brother, was the more temperamental of the two of them. At this point now we go to
see him in this.
Well, there's pretty much all the Elliots are in there at some point, including some I didn't know existed. So
Ernie's definitely the one he's the brother that is the brains of the operation, but he's always behind the scenes, very quiet, zero public, I've never run into him in Dawsonville in my whole life. I've run into the others, but Ernie's he hides out in the engine shop, and that's just where he stays. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the engine shop, now we get a tour of the facilities, which...
We get a really great 80s style square wipe to Benny Parsons leaning against the fence. Really love that.
This... it's a race shop tour. It's not exactly exciting, but if you're a fan of this type of content or Bill, then, obviously you're going to get something out of it. Let's see here. Hold on a second here. There's a bunch of Bill, like the shop has really expanded. At this point, it was filmed in 1989. The shop has expanded quite a bit the couple years prior to this, including a brand new building they're still finishing up while on this tour. And, there's a private airstrip in the back of the property. It's interesting that Bill, he'd leave this team, a couple years later to go drive for Junior Johnson, but then came back, in 95 to start his own team there. And here's the Gene comment. Bill was wearing bell bottoms. You only see it for a brief glimpse, but he's definitely wearing bell bottoms, which that's a choice.
Amazing choice.
It's a choice.
Choice.
Bill kind of explains the layout of the shop and kind of goes through like post-race procedures with unloading the car and all that shit. And again, this is kind of really in the weeds stuff that you got to be a real nerd to get into, but I enjoyed it. I guess the one thing I was curious about, and maybe you'll know this, True Love, is so when Bill left the team, was Melling... And I guess it couldn't have been run out of there because Bill came back in 95 to start his own team, right? Melling, it was still a Melling-owned team at this point. But then Melling continued after Bill left with other drivers. So I guess I'm curious as to, where that facility was after Bill left the team. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, that obviously that race shop's still there.
yeah.
I think only Ernie uses it now, but yeah, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I was surprised to hear how much money and like how nice this place was and how huge, and then to know that he went to Junior Johnson just a couple years later. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well,
What were
I
they
mean,
doing?
I think part of that is the writing kind of is on the wall here, because Bill talks about how different the 1989 Thunderbird was, and even later on in the video he talks about how the combination of how radically different the new car was and him breaking his wrist at Daytona kind of killed his 89 season, like from the beginning. Not to mention the fact they went from bias ply to radial tires around this time, and that was a whole other conversation. Back to the shop tour. I mean, they talk about, they have to fabricate a lot of stuff because a lot of the stock parts are either hard to get or they're not always accurate. So they go over a lot of different procedures and stuff to build the cars there. One thing, this is apropos of nothing. I do not understand surface plates. Like, I don't get them. Like, what's wrong with the floor, I suppose. But I'm not a I'm not a mechanic.
What's wrong with the floor?
I don't get it. I don't understand. So next up, Ernie takes us on a brief tour of the engine shop. Again, back to Ernie being kind of the quiet one out of the spotlight. It's not very long, but he kind of goes over what they do with the stock engine blocks and getting them prepared to race and whatnot. Here we meet an Elliott I didn't know existed, Dan Elliott, who does the drivetrain stuff. Let's see here.
I thought there was going to be like a Kinsey
child.
Elliott or like a Bongo Elliott or something like that.
I don't know the whole Elliott family tree. I know there's a lot of them. So.
Oh, there's just the three brothers. That's all there is.
Well, they mentioned there's Casey Elliott, who's a cousin or something, too. He's on the team.
Casey was Ernie's son. He passed
There you
away
go.
very young from cancer.
It's a bummer.
And there's Sam Elliott, who we all know. Hollywood.
Yes. Okay, so after the shop tour, now we're back to the interview with Bill, and he talks about how he when he wins the title in '89 or '88 finally, and he mentions that he feels like if he won in '85, the title win would have been overshadowed by all the other accomplishments he pulled off in '85, which. On one hand, I understand that sentiment, but it would have really just capped off probably one of the best seasons in the sport's history if he'd won that year. But I can understand where he was coming from when he says that, I suppose. We see some highlights from the '88 season. At Bristol, he gets spun out by Jeff Bodine, does a full 360 and goes on to win. He beats Rick Wilson at the line for the Firecracker 400. He beats Rusty Wallace for the Southern 500, and he finishes the season with an 11th place finish at Atlanta to win the title. And yeah, going back to the '89 start, breaks his wrist at Daytona, and that and the Thunderbird change killed his year. And now we get a totally different segment. We're back at Rockingham, and they're documenting Bill's race at the 1989 AC Delco 500. Bill starts fourth, and Benny is giving commentary of literally everything that's happening on the pace lap and at the start of the race. Like almost too many things he's commenting on, but it's just him by himself talking over Bill Elliott in-car footage, so I guess he has to make the most of it. Not the greatest race for Bill. He's kind of struggling with handling. Benny says more than once he's in for a long afternoon, but he's still running in the top 10. And Benny's trying to give as many details from the driver's perspective that he can in this footage. We see a pit stop filmed, and Bill litters on pit road, throws his water cup out onto the pit road there. and the crew's trying to figure out how to tune the car in a bit more. Jerry O'Neill is a guy that spins out multiple times in this race, like a real ham and egger, and somebody I've never heard of before. We get a restart where he starts in 10th.
Watch that be another Dawsonville legend that True Love's going to come over and kill you over.
Restarts the race in 10th, and he ends up getting spun, or Mikey Waltrip spins out and collects Bill, and Bill's comment is just, man, everybody's wild. That's all he says. The car's not completely killed, but the suspension's kind of screwed up. He avoids spins by Jim Sauter, Harry Gant, Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, and Sterling Marlin all wrecking together. He managed to avoid all of those. Then with like 60 to go, they're changing the right front spring in the car, which seems like a pretty wild move to make at the end of the race like that. But at this point, a lot of their competition is off the track, so they're trying to just salvage the best finish that they can. Bill and Ernie joke over the radio how fun this race is for them. Bill ends up getting 15th, while this was Mark Martin's first ever Cup Series win. Then 2 weeks later, Bill wins at Phoenix. Harkening back to Marty Smith's comment about Jeff Burton being the most important member to make it in the Hall of Fame, Benny says this win is just as important as Bill winning at Darlington or winning the Cup, and that is absolutely not true. Not true at all. And the video ends with Benny asking Bill what he would change about his trajectory at this point, and he says it's hard to make any changes. He just wishes he had somebody to give him some advice in his first couple years on the circuit as far as handling adversity on the track and whatnot. So, and then the whole documentary ends with a highlights montage of just different clips from over the years. So that wraps it up. Pretty good video. I'd never seen this before. If you're a Bill Elliott fan, it's definitely worth checking out, or even just someone who's a fan of 80s NASCAR footage. And again, this type of stuff, a lot of it came out on VHS tapes, and a lot of it is on YouTube, and it's, just search NASCAR or racing VHS, and a lot of stuff that you didn't know existed will pop up, which is how I found this. But it was enjoyable. Again, I've made it clear I'm not the biggest Bill Elliott fan in the world, but not to say I didn't enjoy this video.
Yeah, this was great. I love this one. I've said this plenty of times on the show, and this will be my lone piece of commentary on it. Anytime Benny Parsons is involved, and you get in-depth interviews and footage you might not have seen before, that's an A-plus video. And I've never seen this before. Drew, have you seen this video prior to this, or is this new for you?
I have never sat and watched it start to beginning, but I've seen tons of clips from this video before.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, this is super quality stuff. Very well put together. And I'm glad I watched it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of this is, shop tour isn't my favorite part, but I did enjoy getting an inside look at that in depth, because the shop's still there. I've driven by it tons of times, and obviously I'll never see the inside of it. So.
Why not? Just knock on the door. Hey, I'm a Bill Elliott fan. I want to see what's here.
I was actually going to ask you that if you ever had a chance to take a peek inside there.
No. It looks a little different now. It's got like murals painted on the outside of it. I think there's there's a motorcycle scene on the front that might be a tribute to Casey. One of the garage doors now has like a Coors car painted on it. That's pretty cool. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, the in-depth tour of that shop was just neat to see. I know Chase Elliott took Dale Jr. there a few years ago and gave him a tour, but it wasn't as in-depth of a tour as this. So.
Yeah.
Well, quit being so shy. Go drive down there with Andy sometime and just knock on the door and say, hey.
See who's in there.
I'm a local.
I'm too awkward for that.
Oh, stop.
But my favorite part, though, was when they first go to downtown Dawsonville and they're just like filming the town square, because this video is from 1989. That square looks exactly the same as it does in that footage there. The buildings are the same. Yeah. The signage is the same. Everything is the same. It was a little eerie, but it was neat, though. They had a banner up on the courthouse that said Moonshine Festival and the dates for it, that's the big festival that they still do to this day. Yep. Every October. So, but yeah, when they walk into the pool room and they get that interview with a young Gordon Perkle, that made my day, because Gordon's like, he's almost 90 now. He's had some really bad health scares in the past few weeks where it's been touch and go. But Gordon is such a staple in Dawsonville. You know, he owns the pool room. He's the one that turned it into a shrine to Bill. His son is the line cook at the pool room. Anytime you go order a bully burger, his son's cooking it. The rest of his family's, waitresses and stuff. So anytime you go to the Hall of Fame in Dawsonville, Gordon, up until his health scare, he has his own personal recliner that they've got in the corner behind the desk, and he just sits there all day, like, greeting people. So it's neat to see him in his slightly younger years. So
that's cool. I was scared to ask if he was still alive. Before we move on, I will say that I think the only experience you can get of a shop like that is the RCR Museum, which is totally worth it because you get to see that era. It was definitely cool. This video is awesome. But if you liked this and you have a chance to go to the museum and welcome, whether you're an RCR fan or not, you kind of get that vibe in there. It's pretty cool to see that they've been able to preserve that. Yeah. And hopefully, Trill, if you get a chance to see this one, even if it's not quite the same.
If I ever fucking go down there, I'm going to drive you there myself, and we're going to knock on the door because I'm not as shy. So.
Well, you can talk to him then.
Yeah. Trill will sit in the car.
Yeah. I'll sit in the car and say, he doesn't really like Bill.
You just hold the horn down. Ring your own private siren.
So now we get this little 4-minute clip of some family trips to the shop and the museum. This is probably my favorite part of this video. Is the family. The first clip is from 1993. They show up to the shop, and the dad starts joking about the team not doing good because there's this dog just laying outside in the sun. Yeah. And that's just wonderful. Absolutely made my night watching that.
That's a good dog.
They kind of just film like they're not like in. It's almost like they're filming through windows or something. But they see his cars and you see the big checks on the wall and all that. And Dad points out the possum on the wall because I did find a weird Bill Elliott shirt with a possum on it recently. And then he also zooms in on a Bill Elliott barbecue sticker, a barbecue sauce sticker on his car, which. Did you know that existed?
Yeah, I've seen. I don't own any of it, but I've seen bottles of it pop up every now and then. And there's one T-shirt that exists, but I've only ever seen it in extra large, so I think it only exists in extra large.
I've had the Richard Petty barbecue sauce shirt, and I have to assume it was probably the same sauce, just with different stickers on it. But,
yeah, that's a safe bet. Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's a very brief shot of North Wilkesboro for some reason. And then we cut to 1994, and they're back at the museum. Funny enough, the documentary we just watched is playing in the background of this museum. They just must have it on a loop. We get just a brief walk around, and they see all the cars and trophies and shit. And his Winston Cup is on display there, and there's diagrams of explaining what front and rear steer cars are. The guy is not a great cameraman, though. The camera shots are very all over the place.
Yeah, and his son is running around touching stuff, so he's got to watch out.
Yeah. Well, speaking of his son, now in 1995, we're back again, and we see immediately the McDonald's car of the freshly started 94 team. And we see his kid trying to drive one of their pedal cars that's on display there in the shop, and that's pretty much it. So just a weird little window into what was going on with this family in this museum back in the early 90s. But I had to include it.
True Love, is this museum the same thing that became the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame, or is this completely separate?
I mean, essentially, so the shop in the first video is a big, giant compound, and the airport's behind it. And if you drive by it now, you can see there's like an abandoned house to the side that used to be his parents' house. It's the house that the boys grew up in, and it's sitting there abandoned now. And the street next to it's named after their mom. Like, it's all Elliott Central right there. But this museum and these home videos was a smaller building out in front of the race shop, separate from it, but basically the same parking lot. That building is abandoned now. It's still sitting there. You can kind of see some of the lettering on the windows that's faded, but it's abandoned. But yeah, everything that was in that museum, they picked it up and moved it down to the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame, and
Gotcha.
included all the other stuff in there too. But the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame is essentially just an Elliott museum with some other shit sprinkled in.
Yeah.
I mean, Cindy Elliott's like she's in charge there now, so.
For how much longer, though?
She's still in charge. She's keeping up with her son's legacy too, so.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, yeah. And one thing, too, I wanted to point out, this was the first time I saw any sort of real resemblance between Bill and Chase, young Bill. Not so much in the eyes, obviously, in the hair, but, like, from his nose down, like his jaw and his mouth and stuff, like, that's where I can see, like, oh, they're very clearly related. Because they don't look that much alike otherwise.
Young Bill, definitely, you can see it a lot. They have the exact same nose. And then their mannerisms, the way that they talk, the way their mouth moves.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. It's just ginger on one of them.
Can't say I've ever looked that close at that, but I'm going to take your word for that.
In this home video, like, I know we've talked about the possum in group chat before, but this is the first time I've ever physically seen the possum. I've only ever heard of the possum, and I have some other merch that has a picture of a possum on it. It's a little bag that says Possum Trotter, but I'm glad that whoever this random dad is captured the possum on film.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that famous.
Barely.
Yeah, a couple of great videos this week. I love both of these, and it was kind of cool to see the Junior Johnson stuff after that documentary. Kind of tied the whole room together.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that brings us to next week's video. So, this season especially, we've watched a lot of racing movies and TV shows that were all pretty bad, but one thing they didn't have was a actual driver involved in any of the production or anything. But that's going to change this week because just this week, a short film titled what the hell is it called? I just had it pulled up. Like Underfunded. This was written and directed by Tommy Joe Martins. We all know him as the co-owner of Alpha Prime Racing and a former O'Reilly Series competitor. He's been a follower of mine for a while and bought some stuff and met him a few times. Very nice guy. But yeah, I've never heard of an actual driver doing this type of work when it comes to these types of films and TV shows. So
no, not at all.
It's apparently it did well on the festival circuit, and now it's for free on YouTube. So we're gonna watch that next week.
Very cool. Yeah, Mark Martin is apparently a very big fan of this, so I'm going to take his word for it. I don't know what Mark Martin's taste in movies would be, but if he's saying it's accurate,
music.
then this might this might be a good one, folks.
Yeah. Plus, it's only 24 minutes long, so, it's
Even
not
better.
sitting through 2 hours. So, yeah, excited to check this out, and it's on the playlist. So, yeah, as we mentioned, True Love's going to be in Atlanta. I will be at least one race before we record again. And Rob, you'll be up at Claremont, I'm assuming, right? No, you're in fucking Arkansas. What am I talking about? But you're going to go to a race too, probably. So.
I am, yeah.
We're going to be doing some racing stuff this weekend, so we'll be talking about that next week, of course. So as always, you can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at meetmeatapplebees. I am Speedway Screens and all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop, and MMA Applebees at checkout for 15% off.
It's, still Snake Mountain, True Love. If you're going to Atlanta, let me know. Meet up. I don't know how much beer I'll be drinking this weekend because it's the heat. I don't want to die.
Yeah, it's a hot one.
So,
yeah.
We'll share ice cold water with a liquid IV in it.
Yeah, you just dip your
Sit under
sippy
some
cup
shade.
into the seal tank, and
You're not going to find yourself some Busch Light Limes?
Well, if they have the little taste test booth set up, I will stand in line for that.
yeah, I'm gonna have to find the Busch Light Lime now. After 4 weeks of dogging you, now it's our turn. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's fine.
But
It's totally fine.
yeah. Is it my turn?
Yes.
sure.
Okay, yeah, Rob_official on Instagram. My band is called These Wild Plains. Like I said, I should be at Arrowhead on Friday night for the big Charge and Charlie Memorial. There's fireworks and 48 divisions of cars, including 360 Sprint, so that's a good deal if you're an Oklahoma or Arkansas or Missouri or even Kansas person that listens to this show, which you probably aren't. But if you are, come say what's up. I'll be hanging around there somewhere. And again, I won't be in Claremont this weekend, but the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour is going to be there. That's a big show, and it's going to be a good one, too. That track is super racy with modifieds, and it's cool to see one of the big tours get back there. And I encourage you to watch that on Flow Racing. And if you want to see the other action, that's going to all be on pitrow.tv, courtesy of my camera guy, Orion, who I have thrown to the wolves this weekend. So good luck with that. Doing a broadcast alongside Flow. I hope it's a good one for you.
Is he going to go to the Polish Club by himself?
Yeah, we'll find out. I would imagine he might stop in for a nightcap. TBD.
Cool. Well, with that, looks like the check is here. So thanks for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to y'all next week.